Okay, everybody, welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2 and my Instagram. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. We are going to have a little bit of fun tonight. Yeah, we're going to have a little fun. So I'm just going to work some weapons. Probably not give you too much talking. Just Kung Fu Havoc number 2 so you can get all of my body the way Instagram's going to get my body. Alright, so I'm going to keep it simple. Not going to be out here too long. It is cold, so hopefully have a little fun. Do not do that or that. Always remember in a real fight, that's going to happen when you try to roll. Got out of frame on Instagram for a second. Now top of time. Yeah, I don't like swinging from the inside. This sucks versus that. Okay, chobos. Don't do that or that. That's why. My rings. A box got in the way. Red chucks. Whew. Blue chucks. No doubles today. I dropped them. Whew, that got by me. Recovery. I just blasted my knee, by the way. I gotta feel that shit tomorrow. Or tonight. Lost my balance. Not bad for 48, huh? I can still move with you young boys. My chain. Ah, fucked up. Usually if you're going to use something this long, you're not going to use too much footwork. Okay, so we're going to lose the gloves and tie my hands up. Also gives me a couple of minutes to catch my breath. By the way, anything you're missing, you'll be able to catch it on YouTube in like about an hour. I'll post it before I jump in the shower. Yeah, YouTube's getting a good shot of my crotch right now. Okay, before we go any further, small disclaimer. Do not attempt any of this shit. You will get fucked up. Just saying, you will get fucked up. I've been training with my hands balanced since I was 12, possibly younger. Had some concussions. So, first the do's and don'ts. 1, don't attempt this if you haven't had perfectly great martial arts training by somebody who actually knows how to fight with their hands tied. 2, this is the most important part. This shit mostly only works in the movies. I just know that I can do it. I can't prove that anyone else can do it. I will also say that there will never be a time in your life, no matter who the fuck you are, unless it's in a movie, that you will be fighting with your hands tied behind your back. So, for those who have seen this before, we're going to go through the same old bullshit again and again, and every time that I do belt fightings. I might spice it up when I have more confidence, but with this hip replacement, I'm down like 7% of my weapons. Yeah, I'm like, I have 75% of working body parts. The hip still works, it just doesn't work like it used to, as you just saw. So, first, the don'ts. First and foremost, a good run is better than a bad stand, unless that person is faster than you. And I owe that to Rob from McDojo Life because I never ever thought about someone being faster than me and running behind me. So with my hands tied, I should probably add that on now every time I do this demonstration. Just as a safety note, a good run is better than a bad stand until you can't outrun the person chasing you. That being said, let us begin. First, your blocks are really going to be really, really bad. So, you have your left and your left. If you haven't had any martial art, kickboxing, or Thai fighting, this looks nothing like a block to you, but it's a block. You're blocking with your thigh or you're batting it away. So if you do Thai fighting, you know this move. If you're doing kickboxing, you also know this move. But as soon as you can do it from this way, you can do it from this way. It just depends on how they are kicking. For that block, batting out, if their left foot is over here coming at your right leg, you can bat it out, or you can step back and bat it that way so that you can get it away from you. Being able to engage with your opponent is paramount, but if you don't have any training, do not fucking engage. Do not piss them off. Do not provoke them. Comply so that you don't die and so you can find a way to escape your ropes. Okay? Second, I'm always watching my back, don't worry. Second, you need to know your block here is not going to be 1,000% effective if it's a face shot. This will take care of any coming at belly, body. It'll take care of most body shots. As far as your face, this and this, if they're fighting like with Taekwondo and they do like that scissor shit, you know, boom, boom, you're gonna get fucked up. I'm sorry, you're gonna get fucked up. Just thought I'd put it in words. You're gonna get fucked up. I'm sorry, you're gonna get fucked up. Same thing on the other side. You're blocking, but see, if you can't get your head down here or your arm up here, you're gonna be in deep shit. So here we go. If your escape route is on your left, you want to kick your opponent to your right. If your escape route is on your right, you want to kick your opponent to your left. So in this scenario, my escape route is on my right. I'm kicking him with my right leg to my left because that's going to be a little bit more powerful whether I'm using Kung Fu or Karate. In this case, I'm using Karate. I'm using an outside to inside Crescent kick because that's going to be a little bit more powerful than me trying to do a jumping front kick, which if he catches my foot, I'm going to be fucked up because my hands are tied behind my back. Yes, that's the way. That's America's ass. Okay, so guys coming at me, outside to inside Crescent kick, right leg, sending him to my left. My exit is on my right. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It's probably looking reversed. That's why I specifically said I'm sending him to my left. My exit is on my right. You are the guy coming at me. I am in a position where I actually can defend myself. So I'm set. As you can see, my legs are ready to go. He's coming. Boom. Now I pop my hips. I'm off to my left. It's not that difficult. Now let's say I decide to fuck up. My exit is still on my right. And I'm going to use that same kick only inside to outside, which means now I'm going to have to engage him. So I'm set. You're coming. Boom. I put him right in front of my exit. So you don't want to do that because now I have to engage him. And if I'm not a good fighter and he doesn't go down, I've pissed him off, which means I'm going to get fucked up. So I'm in position. I got to reposition. He's coming. Boom. Sidestep. Side kick. He's coming again. Side kick. He's coming. Front kick. I have to engage him very carefully. You do not want your feet to leave the ground at the same time. So no jumping spin kicks, no tornado kicks, because your balance is off. For those who have never seen this, this is a jumping spin kick with your hands tied. Pray that I stick the landing and not with my face. This is a jumping spin kick with your hands not tied. You be the judge. That first one, my balance was way off. If I miss, I'm dead. At least with my hands tied in front of me, I have a fighting chance. But with that, my hands were not tied. Here's one with my hands tied in front of me. Again, you be the judge. You see, there's the balance differential versus this. My hands tied behind my back. Throws off my balance. So, no jumping spin kick. You want to put him in a direction that's not in front of your exit. If your exit's on the right, to the left. Pop your hips and go. That's your safest move. If your exit is on the left, you want to pop him to the right. So he's coming, boom. Pop your hips and go. If your exit's on the left and you fuck up and do this, boom. Now you have to engage. So you want to keep that shit simple. He's coming, boom, front kick, step, side kick, re-engage, boom. You have to figure out what kicks are going to work. And again, as I pull this wedgie out my ass, you do not want to do anything that involves both of your feet off the ground. A jumping pump kick is okay, but it's a do-don't. If it works and you got lucky and you, boom, and you can fade back, or if he's unconscious and you can escape, then escape. Do not engage. Under any circumstance whatsoever, do not fucking engage. I don't give a fuck what your belt ranking is. Belts are just part of the uniform. Anybody who knows true martial arts can tell you a belt is a system of control, and it is usually a dojo thing. Every dojo has them. It is a system of control. Not all black belts are great fighters. Keep that shit in mind in case you happen to encounter somebody who's a cocky black belt and says, I'm a black belt. I can beat anybody. Maybe. Or maybe everybody you fought just couldn't fight. Always remember there's 3 sides to every coin. That's 1 and 2. Truth is going to be when you find out when you guys engage. All right? So you understand if my exit is on the left, I do not do this. Because that inside to outside crescent kick put him in my way. Now I have no choice but to engage. If my exit is on the left, I want to do this, outside to inside. Bam! So I send him to my right, and I'm going to my left. Because it loaded him up so that I can get him away so that I can escape. That's what you want to do when your hands are tied behind you. All right? You kind of want to do that if your hands are tied in front of you. Because though you have better chances of using your arsenal, if you don't have an arsenal, you're going to get fucked. So, why take that chance? Let's think that out first. If you're not a really good fighter, and you do not have to engage other than to get him out of your way, it would be much easier, simpler, and safer for you to get him out of your way and get the fuck out of Dodge. Now see, a lot of people get cocky and think they're some goddamn body because, oh yeah, my hands are tied. I kicked him. He went down. Don't fucking stay there. Get the fuck out of Dodge. It's so much simpler to save yourself and get the fuck out of Dodge. You think you're a badass, you're going to find out being a dead ass. Understand? I'm telling you this for your own safety, which is why I said do not attempt this, even if you have martial art training, but you don't have this martial art training, because no one I know since 1980s has trained anybody with their hands tied. Maybe old school capoeira, but no other martial art actually had that, because capoeira, remember, was taught in chains, because it was by slaves in Brazil and Jamaica. So, chains. How you think they get, their position, chains, block. So, before we go into your front hands being tied, we must go over your blocking procedures. All right? And the reason why I always do your blocking first, because if you can't block, you're going to get clocked. All right? So, you have your high right, your medium right with knee, low right. High left, your medium left with knee, low left. Now, why do you have two mediums? Because you incorporated your knee. So if you are a Thai fighter or an American kickboxer, you know these are blocks, but they're also strikes. If you know Kempo, this is a block, it is also a strike. If you know Thai fighting, American Thai fighting, or American kickboxing, this is not just blocks, they're also strikes. Having that little bit of knowledge will probably save your ass, but with your hands tied, again, I recommend that you do not engage. So we're going to continue, but I'm not going to do too much fancy shit. I'm going to show you a tornado kick with your hands tied, and I'm going to pray that I stick the landing, because you can still get fucked up with your hands tied, which is why I insist that you do not engage. If you have to fight, that's one thing, but if you have knocked this motherfucker silly, then get out. So here's a tornado kick with your hands tied. I'm going to do left leg, possibly right leg, but, so let's say kick, boom. Now, if you miss that, you won't be talking long, because they go down where they catch you, because they duck that first hit and then they body slam you wrestling style. You got problems. Understand that you have problems, which is why you don't want to do that. Now, tornado kick, right-legged. Again, if you miss that, you got problems. So what you want to do is you want to keep your sequences safe and always try to reposition. Now, if you're doing front kicks only, you got a good shot at keeping them at bay. Boom, boom. But you may have to switch that shit up. So let me back it up a little bit. So, boom, boom. Get here, step in, boom. Okay? And the reason why I did that, boom, boom, boom. So, understand that some kicks are better with one leg than the other. And when you're in the heat of the battle, you're not going to have time to worry about that shit. That shit's not even going to be a factor when the fight starts. All right? How much time my YouTube's probably going to die, my laptop. So, I'm going to finish this off. All right. So, same kicks apply if your opponent is on, your exit, is on the right, and you don't want to engage. You want to kick your opponent to your left. So he's coming, block, front. Now you get out of the way, and you keep him going in this direction. Get him over this way so you can run that way, or you can just do it the way I said in the first do-don'ts. You straight, boom, kick them this way, and you can back pedal out. You can pop your hip and go the other way. Now, if you want to be a badass, I don't recommend that you do this, but if your ex is there and you think you can engage because your hands are tied in front, it limits your chances of losing, but it also limits your chance of winning. You know, escape is always your best option, but let's say you get cocky, so he's coming, and you decide to do a inside to outside crescent kick and put him in the direction of your exit, which means you just fucked up. Boom! Now you have to engage. So you want to step back, boom. Want to step back, boom. Step back, boom. Because you can still block, but stepping back gives you a chance to reposition yourself so that in case you forget that your hands are tied but they're still usable. Yeah, if you forget, that step back can put you in a position to reposition your kicks. You want to be able to reposition your kicks. Again, I suggested if your exit is over there, you decide to go, boom. Now from here, pop left and go. Go from here, pop right, back pedal, go. You want to get away from this person. You don't want to engage. If you are a horrible fighter, this is why I tell you you don't want to engage. If you're a good fighter, I'll tell you again, you don't want to engage. Why? Because you don't know how good that guy is. See, that's the thing about fighting. You don't know how good the other person is until they take one of your hits and either get up or they don't get up. And this wedgie, so glad I'm going to the shower after this. Anyway, you know, your blocks. So if you take a Wing Chun, you know, your line punches. If you do boxing, you know, the rope-a-dope. You're limited with this rope. But your line punches, this ones or those ones, you can still perform. Do I recommend them? Not really. I recommend you block, pull, strike, block, pull, then strike and strike. Now I'm going to explain what I just did. For those who didn't understand what just happened. The first thing I did was complete Kung Fu and Kempo. So I blocked, I pulled, and I struck. That's all one motion, boom, boom, boom. The second thing I did was karate. I blocked, I pulled, and I used my opposite knee, the furthest from him, to give power as I strike him in his midsection, his sternum, or his left kidney, because I'm on the outside of his body. All right? Now, if I wanted to do Kung Fu, I'd have block and broke, pull, strike, and then strike again, because it's right there. Where if I was doing Kung Fu, I just fucked that completely up. If I was doing Kung Fu, block, break, pull, strike, pull here, strike, and then strike. All right? If I'm doing karate, block and pull, stronger because the knee is further away. I'm going to build up more power. Boom. And then from there, I'm going to go there. All right? Tiny difference. Sometimes I get them mixed up when I speak, so I apologize for misspeaking. But, all right, without the hands being tied, I'm going to break down a little bit of Kung Fu for you. And I'm going to use one ring real fast as a demonstration. Like if you have a ring, your target is if you hit here, and then you'll flip this over there, and you'll pull to them. So that's what this is. Boom, boom, and then you pull. So if you're going to use Kung Fu, strike, pull, boom, first leg, boom, strike. Understand, once you get their head in here, they're yours. So when you hit them in the gut, which will be here, they'll bend over, you'll lock it here, you'll pull them. So strike, flip over, pull. Now if you want to do karate versus Kung Fu, same thing, same fucking motion, boom, boom. When you pull though, you're going to use the furthest leg away from your opponent. That way you build momentum and power. And you strike the same way as you would strike with Kung Fu with the opposite leg. Kung Fu is direct, karate is power, so you want to make sure you use one or the other. But truth be told, when you're in the middle of a fight, you think it really matters if you're going to use karate or Kung Fu? It's not going to matter to the guy whose ass you're whooping, so it shouldn't matter to you. Boom, boom, that's Kung Fu. Boom, that's karate. The only difference is you're using a further distance versus a closer distance, all right? Kung Fu is about directness. Karate is about power. If you look at the body sizes of most people who do Kung Fu, they're kind of slim. Most of us are fucking short. Even some of those wushu guys. So here's my rule of thumb. if I ever open up a school and I have to teach you a martial art, I go by your height and your weight and decide what I'm going to teach you. All right? Because I've taken various styles. I have to go by this because there are certain elements that your body size gets in the way. All right? So if you're 6 foot even, you're on that cusp of you can do both, or if not all, different martial arts. If you're over 6'4", you're really kind of tall. I'm not going to say you can't do Kung Fu. I'm just going to say I can't teach you Kung Fu because you're too fucking tall. And the fact that my Kung Fu is for close quarters combat, because if you see strike, strike, boom, that's not even really a movement versus if I teach you karate, boom, 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 I can teach you karate if you're 6'2" or above. But as for Kung Fu, it takes a little less body and a little bit more directness. I don't know any 6'6" Kung Fu masters, but if you happen to know some, hey, send them my way so we can have a little chat. I know most people who are like 6'1", 6'2", dabble in it a little bit, but for the most part, anybody over 6'2", Kung Fu is really not for you. But I can be wrong, and I don't have a problem being wrong, but it also depends on the Kung Fu. And see, that's the thing. If you're doing certain forms of Kung Fu, then it is for you. But like for Wing Chun, which is what my shit is basically, it's like a new version for Wing Chun, it's really for people like from 4'11" to 6 feet. It's for small people. It's why it also works on speed and precision and directness versus power. Because you can generate enough power through speed, but a precise hit is a lot better than a power hit. Because if you hit the right place with just enough power versus trying to overkill, you're going to be successful. Versus you go, bah, the more power you put into a hit, there's a good chance that you could actually damage yourself as well. So if you're going to do Kung Fu, it's going to be easier for me to teach you Kung Fu. Now, there are a lot of principles in martial arts that just doesn't work. All right? There's the 70-30 principle. 70% of what you learn will only work in the dojo. 30% of what you learn will only work in the streets. Now, I'm that guy who can do both in both places because I've been fighting since I was 6 years old. All right? You learn to adapt. If you can adapt, you can make that 100% work in and out of the dojo. The trick is, because people leave this off, if you follow martial artists and they're not telling you this, then don't stop following them, because eventually they may tell you this. But the truth of the matter is, if I'm not telling you that I have to get through your defenses to beat your ass, I shouldn't be teaching martial arts. Period. Because if you're good and I'm good, it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be like a Dragon Ball Z thing, but, in truth be told, whichever one of us is tougher than, who can take the beating the best, is probably going to come out on top. All right? If I'm as tough as nails, you're going to have a problem. It's 125 pounds a problem, but it's still going to be a problem because I'm only 5'3". If you're tough as nails and you're anywhere from 4'11" to 6'2", I'm going to be the one with the problem. All right? Now, the thing about me is I'm a little seasoned. Haven't had a professional fight because UFC wouldn't give me a chance back when I was like 19 and 20 back in the 90s. And then they never had my weight class. So when they finally got my weight class, I was property of the United States Army National Guard. They started doing 125, 115 and shit in 2010. UFC's been out since I was like in high school. I was like 18 or 19 when I sent them a letter in the mail, and they sent me a letter saying, get your weight up. I couldn't gain weight till I was 37. My highest weight was 135, 140, and that was when I was face down at Sand Hill. Now that I had a hip replacement, I'm now allowed to go over 125 pounds, all right? And I'm skating on 127 right now. So I'm trying to keep it between 127 and 125. I'm sure when I go get my checkup, I'm going to lose a couple of pounds from stress. But yeah, learning how to use a martial art and when to use a martial art is one of the most important things, but also knowing that that person that you are about to use that martial arts on isn't just going to lay there and let that shit happen. And if any teacher isn't telling you that, they really need to not be teaching. If I throw a punch with this ring, it's not going to be like I said directly. We would have had to been going at it, and he would have had to make a mistake. But because I have this ring, I got a fighting chance against him. So if he throws a punch and I bat it away, and then I strike again, and then I loop him, he fucked up. But if I'm throwing these and he's blocking, he's going to be feeling that shit. You know, he's going to be feeling the pain of this damn ring. But if it's not really phasing him or hurting him down due to adrenaline, I have to work. Understand? This. I got to put in that work. I have to put in that work. Because if I don't put in that work and he's just eating that shit like he's like Hercules or something, I'm in trouble. Which is why I said also, it's more important to know where to hit someone versus how hard to hit someone. All right? So, final lesson so I can end this. For those who were brave enough to stay, I thank you, for one. So, as I pointed out to a young man today, if you're going to break anything on the human body, I need to step back so that YouTube can get me. You want to break at the balls, that would be your wrist joint, your elbow, your collarbone, and your kneecaps and ankles. And I know that sounds horrible, but it's only horrible for the person whose shit you're fucking up. Alright? If someone is throwing a right punch, it's going to come at your left side of your face. Unless, like, a freak accident happens. So, because they're standing right here, and they're going to throw a right punch. It's going to be at your left. Your left. If they're throwing a left jab, it's going to go to the right side of your face, depending on where you are. If they're throwing a left hook or a left uppercut, it's generally coming to your right. That's just common sense denomination. Alright? So if they're throwing a left jab to this side of my face, I'm going to step this way. I'm going to get to the outside of their body, which means my ass is over here. They've extended their arm. I am going to put one hand here and one hand here. I'm going to pull the wrist and push the elbow, which this is going to go like this, only this way. From there, I'm going to strike in their ribs, kidney. Now, if it's their right side, it would be kidney, liver, and ribs. If it's the left side, it's just going to be kidney and ribs. Go get a human body encyclopedia. It'll figure it out. But my entire target the entire time is kill zone number 2, which is the sternum, because your belly, your lungs, everything is right fucking here. This is your intestines, and this is your bladder. So these are my targets because I'm not hitting you in the face. 9 times out of 10, if you got a steel chin, I'm only going to piss you off, and if I can't rock your ass to sleep with that one hit to the chin, I got a problem. So if I got to go for your face, I'm literally aiming for your throat. That's kill zone number 1. I'm not worried about temple blows because I'm not going to be precise to throw a knuckle strike in the heat of the battle. I'm not going to be worried about that shit. I'm going to be worried about making sure that my ass walks away in one piece and that you don't walk away at all. Alright? You might crawl away, but another rule of thumb, if a person can't breathe, they can't hurt you. And it doesn't matter how big that motherfucker is. If he can't breathe, he can't hurt you. Just try to remember that shit. If you don't remember it or believe anything else I say, go punch somebody in the throat and see what happens. But if you go to jail, I didn't tell you to do it. Because I will deny it in court. Or better yet, even if I told you to do it, they can't really hold me responsible because I'm not responsible for your actions when this video airs. You choose to do something stupid, that's on you. But for the sake of argument, don't do it because I said so. Just, you're going to figure it out real quick that if a person can't breathe, they can't fuck you up. A person can't stand can still fuck you up. Understand that shit. A person who can't stand can beat your ass. Just don't think that they can't because they're handicapped or they don't have a means of standing. A person who cannot stand can still fuck your world up. Now, same thing applies to the arm, applies to the leg. If you're throwing a round kick, I know that my blocking is going to get me hurt. I'm going to have to accept that if I'm going to break your kneecap. Alright? So, I'm not going to break it from this side. I got to be in there. So when you're throwing this round kick, I got to be quick and fast. One hand, this hand is closest to me, will more than likely be on the calf. This hand is closest to you, will be on the knee. And I'm going to snap that shit. Now, I'm hoping that as I snap it, I'm fast enough to block your fist. Because no one's going to sit there and kick and not throw a punch right after. It's either going to be with their right or their left. If they're one of those odd-ass fighters, you know, you're going to have to deal with some shit like that. So you have to be ready for that shit. So if they're throwing this round kick, and you got to be ready because they still have 2 hands. Now, to prevent that, you break and sweep the foot. and then you fall with your elbow into their crotch. Automatic reflex will kick in. They'll sit up. Boom, either here or in the throat. You know, I'm teaching lethal ordnance, and I shouldn't be, but you know, if you're gonna get into a fight, you need to know what's gonna fucking work. Usually, if you hit a person, an everyday person doesn't wear penis protection. You know, a person who's playing sports or whatever, they generally have a cup, and like they generally don't wear it until they have to use it, like in their sports activity. I have a cup; it's very uncomfortable. But you know, I don't wear the bitch every day, so I have to protect my nuts all the time and my private parts. But you know, the average human being doesn't walk around in sports regalia. Now, a bodyguard or a bouncer probably does. So if you're at a club and you kick a bouncer dead in his shit and he don't go down, he's probably wearing a cup. And you've pissed him off because those things getting pushed all up in there, that shit sucks. And they're going to be mad as fuck, which means they're probably going to hit you. So you need to make sure that if you get in a fight with a bouncer at any bar, that your target is the gut or the bladder. Do not kick in the testicles. The belly button, the bladder, the sternum, the throat. That whole central line right there is death worn over. You don't want to hit solid muscle because solid muscle is hard to hurt. You hit places where you can work out till the cows come home, and you can have rock solid abs where will protect your belly button up to like about right there. But that little square in the middle, that's a death sentence for them. 2 knuckle strike. If you can't kick in the belly button, then you kick to the bladder, because that's something that you can work out till the cows come home, and you can't build enough toughness at the bladder. Just go do this a couple of times and see how annoying it gets, and then just think if somebody jabs 2 fingers in here, it's gonna hurt like a motherfucker. So same thing with underarms. See, the thing about Kempo, you can add mantis strikes into Kempo, and if people don't want to believe in pressure points, that's a you problem. I believe in pressure points. They work if they are applied right. You have 365 of them, and 250 of them will fucking kill you if you're not careful and if done by the right person. Now, I can't do that Xena shit where and you can't breathe. No, I can't do that. But I can still fuck your shit up, because I'm going to break your elbow and your collarbone, and I'm going to punch you in the fucking throat. And if I happen to get a good 4 knuckle strike behind your ear, I'm going to try to hit you in that pressure point. Or I'm going to try to catch you under the throat with those 4 knuckles. Now, they will fit. That being said, I am Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2 and Instagram. Thank you for the 2 people that have stayed, and I'll be seeing you guys another time. Maybe I'll do a lightsaber show one night. We'll see. Oh, by the way, if you can still see me, anything that you missed, you can find on Kung Fu Havoc 2 in about an hour. Okay, so thank you guys for being here. I'm sure this battery's going to die. Echo Fan Grey Wolf, this is my video for tonight. There is no prep show, and there won't be any Spider-Man things unless I go on TikTok. I'm not sure I'm going to do that because it's about 12 o'clock, and I'm getting ready to go get in the shower. Be seeing ya.